Welcome to Witham Sounding Board, a podcast sharing powerful business tips, insights, and trends for those seeking to become a rock star in their industry.
Welcome to Witham's Perspectives from the Bankruptcy Cliff, where we provide our perspective on various questions related to insolvency and bankruptcy affecting individuals and businesses. I am Ms. Yerbin, and I will be your host for this session. I am a member of Witham's Forensic Evaluation Services Group. Our team focuses on the unique needs of individuals and businesses going through a reorganization process, experiencing financial distress, or considering bankruptcy as an option. Today, I am joined by Serena Sawney, who is also a member of the team, to get her perspective on understanding preference payments and how to avoid them. We need to start out by reminding everyone that the information you are about to hear is general in nature and should not be acted upon without the advice and counsel of qualified legal representation and financial advisors who can evaluate your unique circumstances. So let's get started. Hi, Serena. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. So I would love to get into a topic here of understanding preference payments and how to avoid them. And to do so, let's just start at the beginning. What are preference payments?
Sure. A preference payment is usually a payment made 90 days prior to a debtor filing the petition for bankruptcy. A preference payment, also called a preferential transfer, is a payment or other property that's transferred to a creditor or insider.
Okay, so you say a payment or other property. What is that term, other property? What can that mean?
So essentially, property is any other type of asset of value. So, you can talk about, it can be real estate, a house, an automobile, jewelry, artwork. Essentially, it's a physical good or right.
Now, you say the preference period. Is that simply the 90 days prior to filing, or is there other qualifications that would be on that term?
Sure. So, yes, typically it is 90 days prior to filing the petition for bankruptcy. However, if you're an insider, it's 90 days up to 1 year prior to filing the petition for bankruptcy.
Okay, so that begs the question, and at this point, who would be considered an insider to fall within that period?
That's a great question. So, an insider can be obviously the debtor, and or anybody related to the debtor, or a business entity affiliated with the debtor. So, examples of debtors can include a friend or relative of the debtor, a director or officer of a corporation, if the corporation is the debtor.
Okay, so if you're making, this what they call preferential payment, what does that actually mean? What kind of payments are you making? What could it be?
Again, they're payments to, let's say, related parties. Let's say you make a loan to a friend, or they can be payments to professionals. So, as an example, if I typically paid my accountant on a monthly basis, and now I'm paying him bi-weekly, that can be construed as a preferential payment, and the creditor can have a preference claim against them.
Wow, that puts some professionals in a tight spot and may not even realize it. So how can a creditor be careful not to get one of those payments, to not receive a preference payment?
Sure. Creditors really need to be careful that they don't deviate from payment terms that they originally had with the debtor. Also, you should monitor the financial status of your debtor as well. So as I said before, you could have been paying a creditor on a monthly basis, but now if you're paying them a lot more frequently, that's grounds for a preferential claim.
Okay, so is there, when this happens, what happens when this is discovered or realized? I mean, I've heard the term, avoidance action or a clawback. What exactly does that mean in the context of the preferential payments?
Sure. So the trustee in a bankruptcy proceeding has the power to avoid or undo certain transactions that the debtor was involved in prior to the debtor filing. What that essentially means is the trustee can go after a creditor and request that a payment be returned or property be taken back prior to the debtor filing for bankruptcy. And really, this is done because it's like the trustee in the bankruptcy court wants to make sure that all the creditors are on a level playing field, essentially, and no one creditor benefits more than any other creditor.
Sure. So then you're looking at a situation where this may present to someone, and I get it. I get why, a trustee may be pursuing this, but if I'm on the other end of this, what do I need to do to defend against such a claim?
Yeah, you got to be careful if you're on the other end of this. Again, demonstrating consistent payment terms with your debtor. If you do decide to deviate from payment terms, be sure to document that you're deviating from those terms and why you're deviating from them. There's something called the ordinary course of business rule that's often used as a defense by creditors. Really, it's important for creditors to retain payment records that show that they have consistently had their debtor pay regularly and nothing's changed. Or if something is to change in terms of payment terms, be sure to document that and document the business reason for it, because oftentimes there is a valid business reason and the ordinary course of business rule defense can apply.
Yeah, that's great to know. I really thank you, Serena, for your information on this, because it is really good to have both sides of it, what the payments are and actually how to avoid them, because that kind of goes hand in hand. I hope everyone found the information on understanding preference payments and how to avoid them helpful. Should you have specific questions regarding your unique circumstances, please reach out to a member of our team. Our contact information can be found at witham.com under Forensic and Valuation Services. This episode, as well as others in this series, can also be found at witham.com. Thank you for listening to Witham's Perspectives from the Bankruptcy Cliff.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you'll be first in line to hear what's coming next. Don't want to wait for our next episode? Check us out at witham.com. That's WITHUM.com.